Hi, I'm Dr. Samatha Tulla, the Medical Director at PMX Health.
This is Dr. Abhishek, Head of Clinical Programs, PMX Health.
At PMX, at least 40% of the clients who walk into the center come up with this top complaint, which is weight loss. They want to lose weight as quickly as possible, and most of them come with at least one common myth. And these are the most common myths that we hear. Fasting helps with weight loss, removing carbs from the meal plans helps with weight loss, burning more calories than they consume, or even walking 10 to 15,000 steps per day helps with weight loss. All of these. But they miss one important factor, that weight loss is something which is associated with a lot of things that are happening internally. The hormones, the stress pathways, the nutrient deficiencies, the sleep patterns, all of it. Worldwide today, we are seeing at least 2.9 billion people who are overweight and at least 890 million people who are obese already. And this recent times, at least after 1990, the obesity rates have doubled. Today, we're trying to bust some of the most common myths people have around weight loss.
Let's do this.
Let's get started. Fat loss requires expensive gym equipment or a gym membership. What do you have to say about this?
We have seen it time and again that that's not the only way that one can be consistent, but that's what most people seek out these days, that they pay a big premium upfront, which is like a motivation factor for people to go back and then be consistent with the routine. But we see a lot of people who are intrinsically motivated and they know what it takes to make sure that their health is on sharp point, and they go and do it in community gyms, parks. They go for running. They make sure that they do it with whatever it is available around them. And they still, if they are consistent with that routine, they do it with proper form, technique, and they're being consistent with the routine itself. We see compounding results over a period of time. And this, coupled with proper nutrition, always works than just going up to a expensive gym and signing up with a higher premium upfront and then magically waiting for that result to come in and kick.
People often feel motivated when they start something new,
Yeah.
but they need to build discipline to adhere to the habits, so that will result in the outcome. Green tea alone creates a meaningful calorie deficit.
How do you feel that this has come to somebody's thought? They drink green tea, and being a food item,
Green tea has got great catechins.
Yep.
It has got something called EGCG, which has got minor effect on appetite, and it signals your brain that your tummy is full because you're having green tea with a liquid. Yes, it does help you feel fuller, cover the gaps between the meals. It will allow you to fast for a little more longer period in time, and a smaller amount of catechins does help you. But replacing everything with green tea alone and waiting for the weight loss to happen is not a magic.
somebody drinks Coke all day and then eats biryani, and then at 6 p.m. I have a cup of green tea every day. Not going to count.
Yes.
Thyroid issues are the reason most people can't lose weight.
One of the reasons. But is that reason very common? Yes, it is very common.
Common in women? Yes. Common because of autoimmune conditions which are undiagnosed, because of which thyroid is not functioning efficiently? Yes. But is it the only reason why somebody can't lose weight? Absolutely not.
No. And also the most common deficiencies that we often see are iodine and iron deficiency, due to which most of the times people have hypothyroidism, which is not autoimmune, and henceforth they can have thyroid issues.
Yeah. Yoga alone is enough to lose significant fat.
You should answer that, because we hear a lot of women especially saying, I do yoga very regularly, still I'm not losing weight.
Yoga, walking, doing treadmill, elliptical, doing breath work alone, all of this falls under the same bucket. We hear people strongly believing that if I do any of this or in any cluster, I am doing okay with regards to what I have to do for exercise. This is like very commonly heard from most of the clients. But yoga, great autonomic nervous system recalibration exercise, which is basically de-stressing you, making you be more present, be more mobile, more flexible, and have full and free range of motion. But is it going to help somebody build muscle unless they do power yoga or different particular forms of yoga very consistently, along with some resistance training, which not many people do out there, it's
Yes.
not going to be helpful in the fat loss journey.
Yes.
What it would help is to support the fat loss journey along with they are, let's say they are doing resistance training, they are maintaining a calorie deficit, they are addressing why they have gained weight in the first place after going through thorough workup. Yoga is a great enhancer, but not the only way people can lose weight.
I think you have put it very precisely. You can stop GLP-1 drugs once you hit your goal weight and keep the results. GLP-1 drugs are great for people who are struggling with morbid obesity when BMI is more than 40 or have multiple conditions like diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, etc. It allows them to shed off that weight initially, helps with motivation, helps with adherence, reduces inflammation. People will shed some pounds and allow them to adhere to nutritional and lifestyle actions better. But eventually, when they stop the drug, will they sustain the results? Then it depends on their sleep, their nutrition, their movement, their strength training, their protein intake, all of it. If they're not doing any of these rightly, or if they have lifestyle habits like alcohol or smoking, then they are not going to sustain the effects that they got with GLP-1 drugs. So they need to have core values of lifestyle factors in place to sustain the results.
Yeah, and there is a reason why GLP-1 frequency has been set to once a week, right? If at all it's going to last a lifetime,
Yeah.
one can take
One
dose,
shot.
one shot, and then lean back and say that everything is going to stick with me, because there is a lifetime. The validity, therapeutic validity of the drug lasts for only few days, and that has a particular effect. While you are on it, if they are taking care of the muscle building part, muscle preservation part, and addressing all the root causes for why they gained weight, and they make sure they continue it and pursue the journey after stopping the GLP-1, then the weight is not going to come back.
And we have often seen this in recent studies, right? After the long-term studies, at least 20 to 30% of the people who have not adhered to any strict nutritional protocol or any strength training protocol often gain back
All of them,
all and more.
Yeah.
The muscle which has lost along the way is already gone,
Yeah.
and they put on more fat than they previously lost, and 20 to 30% of the people gained back. So this is often the yo-yo kind of weight regain that we often see.
Ozempic and GLP-1 drugs are a fix for obesity. I think we addressed it.
Yeah, more or less.
More or less. These gets categorized into the same classification of drugs. It works almost on similar pathways, affecting somebody's appetite and how energy is being utilized from the food that one eat. But is it a fix for obesity? It is not. Like we just discussed, one has to combine it with resistance training, combine it with calorie deficit, combine it with carbohydrate restriction under medical supervision while being treated for why they gain the weight in the first place. That's a complete fix for obesity, not just Ozempic or GLP-1.
This is a very important myth. Protein only matters if you're a bodybuilder. We have talked about this in previous videos multiple times, emphasizing that protein is a must for individuals, every person, men or women, from the age of 30, whether they are building their muscle, whether they are preserving their muscle, or whether they are preparing themselves for a healthy menopause or preparing themselves for a good life, independent life that they want to have in their 60s or 70s. If your goal is any of it, then protein matters.
Running day-to-day life,
yes,
protein is like very essential, right?
Yes.
Enzymes are proteins, hormones are protein. Our cell membranes are partly protein. Many cell level organs function depend on how proteins move from one part to another.
And the very amino acids that make up protein make neurotransmitters.
Yeah.
So how you think, how you feel emotionally, mentally, how charged you are, everything depends on what kind of protein you're taking and what forms of amino acids are coming into your body. So protein is a must for living. For surviving, definitely yes. And for thriving, even more so.
Yep. Eating multiple small meals keep your metabolism high all day.
Need not be. It could work best for some people who have gastric issues or having type 2 diabetes, where their glucose levels are much more stable when they eat shorter meals and multiple meals. But for certain individuals,
or have challenges with their inflammation, cortisol, for whom we might have to de-stress the HPA axis, having small meals does help. But if they are already really obese, there are few individuals, right, whom we we see that they come as partners, and somebody who's obese does not eat much. But there is the other partner who eats a lot but does not put weight.
Put on weight.
Yep. So there is a lot going on which determines what metabolism one runs on, and eating small meals while somebody is having an higher metabolism does not account for fat loss. At the same time, vice versa. So making sure that you know what type of body basal metabolic rate you have got, and in comparison with your height and body weight currently and the track record determines what kind of meals you need to be eating, and not a preset that can apply for everybody.
I think more than the size of the meal, whether being small or large, what matters is what goes into the meal and what is the distribution of the macros.
Yep. You need to cut all sugar completely to lose weight. What do you have to say?
So sugar is a very simple term, right? So sugar can come from carbs, sugar can come from proteins, sugar can come from refined sugars, jaggery or monk fruit or other sweeteners or even table sugar. So sugar is a very simple term which is the end point coming from any of these sources. But if we are talking about refined sugar, table sugar, then yes, we need to keep ourselves away from it in order to lose weight. But I don't think you should restrict all carbohydrates to lose weight. So that is a different discussion altogether. Yes, refined sugar, which is coming in all different forms, should be kept away when you want to lose weight.
Yep. Sweating in a sauna or wearing sweat belts burns fat locally. Let's say I wear a sweat belt to my tummy, go and eat biryani. Will it not absorb the biryani?
Very well said. It is serving a different purpose. Yeah. It is not melting the fat that is being built by biryanis or cokes. Sweating in general helps with a lot of things. It allows us to remove a lot of toxins that we are building over the course of the day, or the different kinds of toxin exposures that we have in real life, which are coming from air, water, food that we consume. So all that, it allows us to sweat. Not just that, sweating also helps us in recalibrating our body temperature, helps with the body circulation, helps with our resting heart rate, cardiovascular health, all of it. But sweating directly proportional to weight loss is not a direct correlation.
And we see people pushing their limits and boundaries in order to feel fully soaked in sweat, in order to make them feel internally that they have done a lot of effort in terms of burning calories, and that's going to significantly appear on the next day weighing scale. And this is again same, there is calories in, calories out concept, and there is what kind of macros that the calories are contributed from, which needs to be accounted for. If one is eating in a proportionate manner to what their current health is requiring, it doesn't require for them to be in a sauna room or exercise to an extent where they are sweating profusely to lose weight. So it's going in tandem with what is there in your blood report at this point in time and what are your goals and objectives. Along with it, if it demands for you to detox, including a sauna protocol does help. But doing just sauna and expecting the weight loss to happen, or running around like a roadrunner bird around and then waiting for you to sweat profusely and drench the whole cloth and expecting weight loss is not a good combination. Late night eating directly causes fat gain. 3 a.m. biryanis.
No,
shop owners are going to be upset.
Let's put it this way. If a person is eating only one heavy meal, which is composed of good macros, there are carbs, protein, there are good amount of vegetables, it's a complete meal, and a person is eating similar meals, one or two, and the last meal is towards their bedtime, then it's still fine. Because over the day, throughout the day, that person has sustainable energies which he got from the meals. But if this meal is comprised of a biryani followed by a coke, then a Irani chai, and then compromise bun maska and compromise sleep in the night, then that can lead to fat gain. But if it is a healthy meal, good macro distribution, then it need not be. Because we have seen people eating just one or two meals and the last meal towards the bedtime, and they still do well.
And makes sense when somebody is working for a different time zone, or if their work demands it, they are traveling, they're not eating for the whole day, they have access right now, they want to eat.
Yes.
But on a daily basis, cutting in your sleep routine, involving your digestive system at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. and then figuring out a way to sleep after that will put them in a cycle which will maybe hinder their habits that they are following through the day, maybe make them skip their workout and lose track on their muscle building part, which can indirectly cause them to gain weight. But again, if they do it when it is mandated, it is okay, I guess. But other times, one needs to stay.
It depends on
away
how
from it.
much total calories you get in a day,
Mhm.
followed by how your sleep structure is and the distribution of meal. Once you stop exercising, muscle turns into fat.
Muscle and fat are two different tissues. One tissue can't become another, metamorphosize into another tissue ever.
But there is one phenomenon that can happen. As a person ages, they can always deposit fat within the muscle tissue. That can happen when you're not strength training, very sedentary, and you're adhering to wrong nutritional habits. You can deposit fat in the muscle, but muscle do not turn into fat. Of course, your body composition might change. You might lose muscle over a period of time and gain the fat.
Toned muscle would become lax.
Yes, and your muscle can be deconditioned if you have not been training. You have seen this, right? People stop doing workouts for 2 to 3 weeks in a row, no strength training at all, and you see their muscles are flabby and they lose the tone. In fact, they may even gain some fat in that last 3 months. It is not because they have just stopped exercising, because their entire habits are changing. Maybe they have stopped moving, they have stopped eating, concentrating on protein, because we have seen this. People adhere to habits when they're doing all at once. They do strength training, they eat protein well, they move well, they sleep well, because they want to reap the benefits of exercise. So once they stop exercising, they don't take the sleep seriously, they don't take the protein intake seriously, they don't move so often, their non-exercise activity thermogenesis or the movement across the day comes down. So all those accumulated events will lead to effects of more fat.
That's a cause, and the
Yes.
fact being muscle starts to become less toned and they gain fat in and around the muscle, and that makes the tissue from outside look like it has turned into fat, but internally it's not turning into fat. So if you are exercising, you need to stick with it. If you are getting on a break, don't think that, oh, I have lost all track. I used to dance, my body used to be very toned. Now I have lost all of it. You do have that muscle memory. You can go back at it and then regain all of it back in 3-4 days of being at it, rather than thinking for the ideal day situation for it to come and then you can hop on that bandwagon.
Weight loss supplements and herbal teas actually work. Thank you for this question, because I see clients coming and asking after the prescription is done. They look through the prescription and they say, oh doctor, you didn't write any weight loss supplement. There's nothing like a weight loss supplement. If we had all weight loss supplements in the world, we all will pop one pill every day and then we feel fine, we'll start losing fat.
Overfeeding.
Supplements are there to support our hormonal systems, to balance our stress rhythms, to balance our sleep, to maintain harmony across all the body systems, and to allow us to thrive in these different pathways in the metabolic health, or it could be in your fatty acid oxidation, or allowing you to digest better, absorb better, allowing you to sleep better. So supplements are there to support all these mechanisms in the body, and henceforth the outcome could be a weight loss. But precisely, there's nothing like a weight loss supplement. They all have different purposes or mechanisms of action. Some could help you lose inflammation, some could help you digest your food better, some could help you to fall asleep better. But eventually, all of these are helping you with weight loss. Same goes with herbal teas. Herbal teas, okay, take one example. See, we hear this, right? Spearmint tea. Spearmint tea helps with hormone balance in polycystic ovarian syndrome. What is the effect of drinking spearmint tea? It is a very small effect. But sometimes when we use therapies, supplements or drinks in mixed together, they have a compounding effect. So you're working in all of these areas. Each one will compound and have a byproduct which could be weight loss.
It works, but not in isolation like anything and everything that we have discussed so far. It works in combination with other things that are moving the bar forward.
Yes.
You need to do a lot of exercise to see any result. You are in your 60s and you are starting new fresh body muscles, not done a lot of or any resistance training for that matter, being dormant, being sedentary, getting started, being motivated with things that you are seeing now, you have time in your hand. Yes, it takes a long time, yes, it takes a lot of effort, but because things that are there in a 20 or a 30 or a 40-year-old, be it hormones, be it the small molecules which takes up the inputs from your exercise and reciprocates muscle building, are not the same. But if you are in your 20s or 30s or even in your early 40s, this does not apply. This only applies to people who are starting very fresh, very late in their life. This applies for individuals who are having an event in front and they need to prepare for it. Let's say a marathon or IROX, Devil Circuit or Ironman. They need to train harder, they need to be at it, be consistent with the routine, be in a very regimental way of training.
But again, these are all structured training
Yes.
protocols. Lot always doesn't mean you run 7 days a week, you do strength training 7 days a week. There are structured protocols for any kind of training. So
I think this
basically
also applies to those who are doing a lot of HIIT in the gyms, doing a lot of box jumps, rope stuff, doing a lot of elliptical, treadmill, and then spending 2 hours a day, 6-7 days a week in the gym, not able to lose weight. They get frustrated. They say gym is not working, and then eventually they find a way to go and meet a healthcare professional just to say that gym is not working.
yeah, most of the times they don't see great results after a lot of exercises because they might be missing two crucial elements. Either they are not doing enough strength training paired with good protein intake, or they're missing to build their aerobic base where they're not even training in zone 2 at all, and all that they're doing is being always in zone 4 and zone 5 where they don't build their cardiovascular capacity. So these are the two common mistakes, alongside not recovering enough from a previous day higher intensity load. So pairing recovery, low intensities at least 5 days a week and 1 or 2 high intensity stuff per week, and pairing with strength training would be a great
combination.
Yeah.
Exercising all through the day. Eating fat makes you fat. I think this is a myth of the previous decade. I think people have moved on, but this still exists in the 30% that we tend to interact, at least with the power of social media, increasing awareness. People have realized that carbohydrates, if eaten in extra than what the body is made to spend with the expenditure that is required for running the system, gets turned into fat, but not the fat into fat. Okay, if I am eating a lot of ghee, does it mean that I'm going to gain a lot of fat?
Context always matters. If a person is eating ghee all through the day with 3 meals and adding extra spoons, and also is consuming heavy carbohydrates, and also is consuming refined carbs throughout the day, eating continuously, taking extra calories throughout the day, and trying to lose weight, this is a bad combination. Now think about another individual who is strength training, doing good exercise, and is pairing this ghee with good protein source, eating limited carbohydrates, adding a lot of vegetables to it, then it is a different scenario altogether, right? Fat will work for you. Sometimes fat will work against for you when you're overeating other things alongside that. So together your total calorie intake is also high, and eventually any excess carbohydrate calories that come from the day throughout the day will not allow you to lose weight, right?
Eating fat does not make you fat as long as you combine it with other essential things.
If I'm thin, I'm healthy. Especially being a South Indian and South Asian, we can never assume being thin is being healthy, because we have seen this more than 70% of the times where you could be thin but you still can have insulin resistance. You could be thin, still you can have type 2 diabetes, hypertension, all of it. Because naturally South Asians have got more capacity to store fat around their internal organs, because we are built like that. So whenever there is extra calories that are coming in, or you're not spending any amount of energy on your exercise, or you're sitting constantly, more sedentary, not exercising, you are going to store all that fat as visceral fat, not as a subcutaneous fat, because we can't store or multiply so many fat cells under the skin, which is subcutaneous fat. But we are very capable of expanding the storage around the internal organs, and henceforth we store it in the visceral fat. So you could be thin and unhealthy. You could be obese and relatively healthy. You could be overweight and still be healthy. but you could be thin and you can definitely be unhealthy. The reason why people can be thin and not healthy is most commonly because they have something called insulin resistance, where your cells are not very receptive towards insulin. Insulin is a hormone secreted from your endocrine gland called pancreas. It has a key-like mechanism where it has to unlock the channels within your cells to send that glucose into your cells. So most of the times, because of n number of reasons, alcohol, smoking, sedentary life, lack of sleep, being South Asian, lot of nutrient deficiencies can put you at risk for insulin resistance, and your cells won't respond to any amount of insulin that is being secreted. So people have high insulin levels, have high HOMA, high insulin resistance, and cells don't use any energy that is coming from the food that you eat. So you end up eating so much, insulin levels are high, you end up with fatigue and crashing after the meals, and you feel lethargic all the time. You may put on visible weight, or you may look
great from the back. But when we come to the front and see you, you might have like a palm, which happens in South Asians very commonly. And this is a gift that we have gotten because of a lot of genetic variations that came to us because of the colonial hangover. A lot of starvation, a lot of hunger, a lot of scarcity when it comes to food. And we have seen a lot of drought across this continent, subcontinent. This has resulted in us having severe tendency towards gaining a lot of fat in and around the organs when compared to a white person, where they can multiply or have fat stored under the skin.
So something that was an adaptive physiological mechanism for our bodies to protect us from droughts and famines is now working against us because we have food excess all the time. So please watch out for insulin resistance.
You need not be overweight to develop insulin resistance. You can be thin and outside and be fat inside. We see it with our DEXA scans that about 35 to 40% of the individuals that we screen who are in normal BMI come out to be metabolically obese. And this makes the point that we keep talking that BMI is not the absolute predictor of whether you are healthy metabolically or not. Having good OMA-IR, which is less than 1, and HbA1c less than 5% is a far more significant predictor of having good metabolic health than the BMI itself.
Yes, ultimately you could be metabolically obese but normal weight.
If I work out regularly, I can eat anything I want.
Absolutely not. Not anything that you want, but you can smartly use healthy options which are high glycemic index foods. That is, any foods that demand secretion of high insulin, something like a white rice or fruits. These can be had around your workout period because your body is a lot more insulin sensitive around that time. That is 1 to 2 hours post your workouts, where your body systems are so receptive that any amount of high glycemic foods that you eat during that time, your cells are very receptive and absorb the energy better. But this doesn't mean you can eat anything, like it could be a croissant, cookie, bakery items or cakes, pizzas, pastas, everything, and expect that you will be healthy, because people measure health with weight. So you could be having normal weight, you could be looking healthy on the outside, but a lot of changes could be happening internally at the level of the gut, at the level of your hormones, all of it. So yeah, you cannot eat anything you want if you work out regularly, but you can eat smartly around your workout timings.
Carbohydrates are the main reason people gain fat. I think we spoke about it already while we discussed about fat making people fat. Carbohydrates in excess without proper physical activity that is required for that particular person definitely makes somebody gain fat, especially if you are a South Asian. It applies to you more than anybody else. So this is a fact. Fruit causes fat gain because it contains sugar.
See, we have seasonal fruits for a reason. It is enriched with vitamins, nutrients, and it's high in fiber. You can always consume fruit at the end of your meals, making sure you have eaten a healthy plate. You can always consume fruits of the season towards the end of the meal. But there is a moderation. If you're eating it in moderation, like a cup of fruit, then that is totally fine. But breakfast, mid-morning snack, lunch, evening snack, and dinner here, if you're consuming fruits all the time, it could be seasonal fruits, then that is too much, because though there is good balance of nutrients in the fruit, there is always fructose in the fruit. If it's eaten in moderation, it's still okay. But you have type 2 diabetes, severe fatty liver, you have dyslipidemia, cholesterol issues, and you're eating fruit throughout the day, then that high amount of fructose load could be a problem for you. So yes, moderation is key.
Are few of the many myths that we commonly hear from our clients, from the people that we regularly interact, and we try to pick a bunch of them which are in repetition, which we keep hearing, and try to address this today. I think we covered most of them. We really hope that this addresses most of the common myths that are circling around the internet and from your WhatsApp universities on the comments.
If you have more myths around weight loss, please post in the comment section. We'll try to answer them in the next video. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to PMX Health, please do subscribe if you don't want to miss out on this evidence-based information around health and longevity. If you found this video helpful and very informative, you should not miss previous two videos. One was covering skin health and other was on protein.